Alright, it is finally time to mirror the body of our car over to the opposite side. So, what we're going to do for starters is, I do want to have a look at the wheels, because there was something that I forgot to mention in the last video. The back tire, the rubber part, is actually bigger than the front one. So, what I'm going to do is grab these 5 holes here around the tire, and we're going to scale these up uniformly just a little bit, which will increase the size of the tire. Then I'll select any part of the wheel, press the up arrow key to grab that group, and we'll push that up a little bit so that the wheels are level to one another. So that looks nice. Okay, now what we need to do is kill off some of that extra history that we may have failed to delete. I mean, depending on how religious you were about deleting history, you might have some, you might not. I know I have some. So what I want you to do is go and grab all of your smooth proxy meshes and set them to low res. Make sure you're very thorough. Things like the inside of the mirror, don't forget that. So make sure that's all set to low res. Every piece, and this is where that blend material really helps out. Helps you kind of visualize what you still have set to high res. Okay. Looks pretty good. Also, because the way we duplicated this rim, we do not have a connection between the low and the high res that we can switch between with the tilde key. So delete the high res on this rim, select the low res rim geometry, and then hit Control tilde and create a new high res, and then you can toggle in between the two. Just quick trick from me to you. Oh yeah, one more thing about the wheels. On this car, the brake calipers in the back are at the front of the wheel. Here at the front wheel, the brake caliper is actually at the back. If you want to spin this around real quick, grab your brake caliper, shift select your brake disc, hit P to parent, then grab your brake disc, spin it around. Whoops, not in all 3 axes. I just hit a bunch of keys all at once. Just spin this around in X, like so. I think it's a little bit low. It's not like exactly on the back. It's down just a tad. And then you can grab your caliper by itself, hit Shift P, and there you go. And it's just a real quick trick, me to you. All right, now that we've done that, we need to go through and systematically kill off some history. Now, oh, look at that. That's still on high res. Be sure to set that to low res. The reason I'm so adamant about this is if you accidentally delete history on a high res object, you lose that connection between the high and low res. So make sure everything is set to low res. That includes this guy who's still on high res. All right, so one piece at a time. What I'm going to do is just select it, whether it has history or not. We'll go Edit, Delete by Type, History. Now I can just start clicking and hitting the G key. So anywhere you see history, just hit G. That had a little bit. And let's see. Ooh, this has got a lot. And that's got some history. And that's got some history. Oh yeah, look at us killing out the history all over the place. We can grab probably all of this at once and kill off history, and kill off history here, and here. Ooh, that's got a lot. That's got a lot. That's got a lot. This has got a lot. Ought to be ashamed. Oh, tons of history there. Let's grab all of this, kill that off. Oh, that's still on high res. So make sure you set that back to low res, then delete off its history. Okay, that's everybody. All history is now gone. Now, we need to mirror over to the opposite side. Now, here's a quick trick for this. Come over here to the top view. Draw a marquee selection box that just covers the very middle of the car, just barely. What this does is this will select all pieces that need to be mirrored. Now that you've done that, back up here in the top view, press the F9 key so you can select vertices. Draw another marquee selection box that just barely covers over into the model. This will grab all of the vertices that need to lie on the central axis. Get your Move tool. Make sure your Move tool is in World Mode. Click on the X-axis, hold down the X key, and middle mouse click on any one of the grid points that's on the center line. This is going to snap all of these vertices back to the center X-axis, which is what you want. All right, time to start mirroring geometry. What we're going to do is take each one of these pieces that needs to be mirrored, hold down the Shift key, right mouse, come down to Mirror Polygon, mirror in -X, boom, there you go. Now grab each one of these pieces and hit G. Only the pieces that actually touch the center axis. Do not try to mirror things that lie outside, like the mirror or the headlight. Okay, and this and this and this. Oh, look at that, folks. That was still set to high res. Undo, 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 undo. Make use of those undos. You know what they call that? They call that a mistake. So there it is, back on low res. Now let's delete out its history. Watch out for those. Okay, now, real quick. Same story, a little bit faster. Grab everything that runs down the center, F9. Grab all the vertices that lie on the central part of the axis. Snap those in X right back to the center of the grid. And now start mirroring. So shift, right mouse. Oh. Come here, you. Make sure I have that selected. Am I in some sort of weird object mode that I'm not aware of? I guess so. That's fine. We'll just do this the other way. Polygons, mirror geometry, and let's make sure that we are set to -X, like so. Now just hit G all the way across. Make sure you grab, say, this guy here at the middle. Looks a little bit weird. Oh, yeah, don't worry about that. Things will look weird right now. We'll fix that here in just a moment. So mirror all of this, all of this, all of this. Little wing here in the middle. And finally, this little piece. And there you go. Now, you'll notice some pinching, some problems. And this is because you are over-merging. Your merge tolerance was set too high. It's not a problem. Just grab all of these pieces you just mirrored. It's real easy to do in the top view. Like so. Go to your inputs and click on that poly mirror node. You're actually changing several nodes at once. Set your merge threshold down to 0.001. That will fix these all the way across. Now, take just a moment and check each of the pieces you just mirrored. Looks like we need to mirror this one. Missed it. So let's see. Mirror polygon, -X. There you go. And since I don't have this smoothed, we will just go ahead and soften, harden edges. We'll soften all of those. And I may end up smoothing that here before all is said and done. But take just a moment, set these to high res, and look for any errors or discrepancies. The hood looks pretty good. This piece looks good. Windshield looks good. The roof looks like it needs some tweaking. It looks like somebody sat on the roof and kind of crushed it in. So these are some things that are a little bit tricky to discover until you have mirrored in some cases. So don't worry about it. Just take a moment and fix it up. And it looks like these need to be kind of brought up. And then we can probably bring all three of these up together just a little bit. Pull this guy up. And I think that fixed it right up. So there you go. And that's looking pretty good. And it looks like these pieces back here in the back, they're looking pretty good, but it looks like maybe there should be some more rounding. Like there's a little bit too much of an angle on the left and right sides. So here's a real easy way to fix this. Set them back down to low res. Take your move tool, hit W, left mouse, switch on reflection. Now, in my case, we're reflecting on the x-axis. You can tell because you see the little plane appear on the move manipulator. This is a Maya 7 feature, by the way. And make sure your reflection axis is set to X if you need to switch on your move tools for just a moment. Check out your options. Now, the cool thing about this is it's going to make the exact same motion on the opposite side of your model. So we can grab, say, this vertex, tug it out a little bit to create rounding. But what I want to do is I want to go into object mode for just a moment. We're going to grab all three of these panels, then press F9, and we're going to fix them all at the same time. So if I grab all three of these vertices, notice I'm actually moving their neighbors on the other side of the model as well. How cool is that? And I think that did it. So just a couple of quick tweaks. And now the rounding looks a bit nicer. Let's clean the rounding up on these two pieces as well. So we'll select the both of them, press F9, and just make a few quick adjustments. All right. There we go. Sweetness. All right, so after we've done that, all we really need to do is start duplicating all of these other pieces over that we have created. And these are pieces that can't be mirrored. These are things that actually need to be sent over to the other side of the model. Because if we were to try to mirror these, like shift, right mouse, mirror polygon, and -X, you'll see it just mirrors at its minimum. We actually want to duplicate it far over to the other side. So what we're going to do is start off by selecting every piece that has been smooth proxied. This might take you just a second, so be patient with yourself. So there's all of the windshield pieces that were smooth proxied. There's the fender. Don't worry about the rims. We'll handle the rims separately. For now, just worry about the car itself. There's the door. The mirror was smooth proxied. The piece inside the mirror was smooth proxied. The window. Oh, the door piece. And look at this, we deleted history on this, so that's now the official... Oh, no, it's not. Oh, I thought we had killed history on it. Goodness gracious. Let's kill off its history now. I must have skipped it somehow. No problem, though, as long as we catch it at some point. So, reselect. Make sure you get the low res over here. So, low res. Low res, low res. You want low res on all these. It really doesn't matter which one, but I'd prefer if you selected the low res. Everything that was smooth proxied. Again, ignore the rims, just body parts. And that would be the bumper and the wing, this little straight piece up here. I think that's everything. Now, press the up arrow key once, and what this will do is this will grab all the smooth proxy groups. It's a group that is automatically created when you smooth proxy that contains your low and your high res mesh. Now that you have those, hit Control G. We're going to group all of these together. Under Edit, come down to Duplicate, open up your options, and I'll reset my options real quick. Make sure you check Duplicate Input Graph. So you're grabbing all of the connections in between the nodes on these. Then hit Duplicate. Now you have Group 10 where you had Group 9 a second ago, or whichever number you might have. It might be different in your case. Set the scale in X to -1, and you come over to the opposite side, but because you duplicated the input graph, you have a low and a high res for all of these pieces as well. They can all be toggled. So how nice and easy was that? Now let's start grabbing some of these pieces that were not smooth proxied, and that would be things like this little vent piece up here in the front, the wheel well. If I go into wireframe, the pieces of the headlight, which are a little bit easier to select in wire. All the little lamps that are up inside. Again, don't worry about the wheels for now. We get the wheel wells. We have this little vent piece back here in the back. I think that's everybody. So now we'll do the same thing. Control G, Control D, set scale X to -1. And now that is also on the opposite side of the car. Looking good. Now you just have the wheels. So you can press the up arrow key, like select either part on both of the wheels, press the up arrow key, and just hit up until you have both of these groups selected. Hit Control G, Control D. Once again, set scale X to -1, press Enter, and there you go. So with that, your car has been completely mirrored. You can now, if you want to, switch over to high res on all of the bits and pieces. So take just a second and I'll do that just so you guys can see the final. And that's still high, that's high, that's high, that's high. Dun, 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 dun. And that was already cranked up. High res, high res. Your materials also came along for the ride. How cool is that? Whew. Getting a little bit heavy on the old viewport, isn't it? The cost of a beautiful model. That's the smooth, but it didn't have a material on it. Okay. There you go. I guess we could. The only other thing we could switch on are the rims themselves. Now, let's see. In this case, we don't have the high res on the rims again. So rather than fool with whatever our duplicate settings were, we can just delete out the high res, then hit Control tilde on the low res, so that we get a new high-low res. And back here, this one actually is switching, so that's all good. This one's not switching, so we'll kill out the high res, Control tilde to create a new high res. Very quick fix. And wow, so there's the entire car, all high res, and looking really good. So at this point, the only thing you could do is make sure that you save your work. And really with that, you are done with the outer shell of the car, a few tweaks aside. You may need to go in and clean up a few areas, just check your car out and see what you think. And that is going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks a lot.